Welcome in everybody to Leading Off right here on Fantasy Pros. It is me, Joe Pisapia, and that is not Dinger Dan Harris. No, he's off having some sort of brunch at the plaza today. He's a very important guy. You know Dan with his brunches on Fridays and what he likes to do. So instead, we've got another man in a distinguished hat joining us this morning. He's friend of the show, the manager of the Discord, and really, I would say the backbone of this whole operation here at Fantasy Pros on the MLB side. He's the one, the only Mike Mayer. Mikey, welcome to the program. It is nice to see your face and hang out with you this morning, buddy.
It's great to be seen, especially now that like black square thing is gone. I can actually see myself. We got that worked out.
No censorship anymore.
Yeah,
that's right. The StreamYard did not recognize right away. It's like, I don't understand. This doesn't compute. This isn't Dan Harris. What's going on? This is not the tall, lanky fellow with the glasses. No. And you know Dan's watching this. He's always going to watch every single moment because he's a workaholic and he can't stay away. So, Dan, we miss you on a Friday, but I'm happy to spend some quality time here with Mayer. And we've got some baseball to talk about. Again, it's not a baseball game because that, of course, didn't happen last night. No. COVID rears its ugly head yet again. But let's get to the headlines. That's certainly one of them because Red Sox and Yankees Thursday game got postponed. We'll see what happens. I mean, if you think that game's happening today, then I've got some land in Florida on a swamp I'd like to sell you. Chris Sale hitting 97 in his rehab start. That's great. It's not always velocity. It's control, right, Mike Mayer? That the guy sometimes coming back from Tommy John will always tell you. And then there's that little dead arm period too, but this is good. And the Braves acquired Jock Peterson. So the sell-off for the Cubs has begun, I believe, officially. I think Jock Peterson is that first salvo in that. So what are your thoughts first on this Peterson trade? Because once again, Jock Peterson has some moments there, Mayor, where he can certainly, give you a good week or two, and he'll also give you a bad month or two. So what do you think about the Braves making this acquisition yesterday?
I think it was fine for them, especially like their return for the Cubs was like, like it was like a 23-year-old and like high A who like got.
I think it was and Brendan Tuma. I think too. I think he was a player to be named later in that deal.
Yeah, too much Tuma. I think it was fine, and there was an interesting note. I forget if it was like Rosenthal or one of those reporters that were like, the Braves, they're trying to replace Acuna, and this is kind of a smart move to make now because it wasn't a high cost, and like if the next 2 weeks don't go well, they can just flip Peterson again. And like
true, yeah,
and
that is
turn
true.
Around and sell him again, which from a human standpoint, not great for him. But if you're playing video games and just moving players around, that's a thing you can do.
So that sounds like fun to me. I mean, that's pretty much my life. I mean, playing video games, just moving players around in and out of lineups and making trades. That sounds good to me. I like that. But you're right, they could, and who knows? I mean, there's no replacing Ronald Acuna, but Peterson can go on tears. We've seen that before. And it's smart. Like, I think it sends a message to the Braves fans that, like, hey, look, we're the Braves. We're not going to just fold up the tens because Acuna's gone. We're going to give it a try. But I think you're right. I think it's a 2-week run before you see what else happens there.
Not impressed by the Mets.
No, it is not. And going back to that Yankees COVID outbreak, Aaron Judge, who was an all-stars in the protocol. Also, Hisagawa, Urshela are in protocol. Cortez, Loaizaga, and Peralta were the guys with confirmed cases. So hopefully it's not the Delta variant. Hopefully, I mean, we've also been, was it the positive negatives or whatever the hell it is where they test positive and it turns out to be a false negative. So, look, we'll just keep our eye on all that. But at the end of the day, this is certainly not the way I think Major League Baseball would do. They were riding high, home run derby, all-star game, Vlad Guerrero, Shohei Ohtani, all this great stuff. And now we're going to have like 12 doubleheaders here for Yankees Red Sox. Not the way they want to start off after the break.
And that all-star game component is like the scary part, right? Because Aaron Judge hasn't tested positive that we know. It's just in the protocol. But like this guy was at the all-star game around everyone in baseball. And like there's this potential for catastrophe that like, there's just like a league-wide outbreak now because all these superstars are just like hanging out with COVID.
Yeah. And where were they hanging out? What were they doing? I don't know. But you know what? It's not for us to worry about. We just got to figure it out for our fantasy circumstances. The Mets are among the teams interested in Chris Bryant. That's from John Heyman. I don't buy that at all. I think that's a big load of crap. I think they're kicking the tires there, like everybody's doing due diligence. And Deji Davis is back. So why would they need him? Because JD Davis is special, right, Mike Bear? Boy, you say one thing about a guy, and I want to know what makes JD Davis special to you. Come on, tell me. He's a nice player. He's a good player. Nice hitter. But, I mean, come on. This is not Juan Soto's a special player. JD Davis isn't special. You're not clearing the room for him, but it's nice to get another piece back for the Mets. So how do you feel about him coming back here after hitting 370 in AAA in his 10 games?
Well, I just like to troll, you and Dan, except for the Zach.
I like stuff. When I get trolled. It's fun.
But I think you're right. JD Davis is a Jag, right? He's just a guy. But he's like
a little bit better. He's a guy that can contribute, though. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but I think like Mets fans and fantasy managers, like last year or the year before, whenever it was, like, when he got hot, went on that run, everyone was like, oh, this guy's great. He's like a long-term starter. And I was like, I don't know about that. He's a guy.
He's a guy. John Means goes 3 innings in AAA rehab start. That's very good. We also had Tyler Glasnow playing light catch. This is not to be confused with, light petting or things of that nature. But look, I still have zero hope for Tyler Glasnow coming back this season. I'm sorry. And I think it's going to, once again, put him out all of next year. We shall see if I am right or wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. I've never wanted to be so wrong because I really like Tyler Glasnow and I like what he's about. I like the dude. I love the player. But if you are a Tyler Glasnow owner, do you look at this as an opportunity of maybe I can sell off here and redraft and get something now that he's playing catch? Do you think you try to just get what you can here because he is throwing a baseball at least? Is this like your final window before it's completely gone?
It could be. I mean, I would feel kind of scummy. But I mean, everyone knows the situation, so you're not like pulling the wool over anyone's eyes. But you can be like, hey, look, he's playing light catch. It's better than not playing light catch. Yeah. And I don't know what the return would be. I guess you put it out there and see what people are offering. But I think you're right. I don't think we're going to see him again this year, which hurts a lot of my teams because I have a lot of shares.
Well, I mean, if you get out, I mean, would you take I don't even know if you can get Tyler Mahle for him or somebody like that. Like, I'm trying to think of like a pitcher who's like nice but has some issues, something like that. Like that. Anything in that range, I think you would take for him and be very happy about. But it's a tough situation for sure. Aaron Nola, COVID protocol is not listed in the Phillies rotation this weekend. Sonny Gray expected back on Sunday. And Jared Kelenic officially called up. That's great. I want to get to this Byron Buxton thing because we were talking about this before the show. And the Twins are trying to basically say, Byron Buxton, hey, you're always hurt. Here's $70 million. And if you don't like it, then we might consider trading you. And if I'm the Twins, I gotta say, it's been a frustrating ride with Byron Buxton. If you think from a fantasy perspective, Byron Buxton's frustrated you, imagine the Twins and the signing bonus they paid this kid, the number 2 overall pick years ago, and the constant injuries and the constant behind on development, and then getting up to the major leagues and struggling and then being sent down. The Twins are more frustrated than you with Byron Buxton. But I ask you, do you think Byron Buxton bets on himself? Do you think his agent gets in his ear and says, hey, kid, that's $70 million guaranteed dollars. Are you sure you want to turn that down? How do you think this story ends, Mayor?
Well, I can tell you if I'm Byron Buxton and the Twins came to me and were like, look, you're hurt. We're going to sign you on a discount or we're going to trade you. And then they slide across the table Aaron Hicks money, I'm going to tell him to go pound.
I love that you keep calling it Aaron Hicks money. Go ahead. Keep going.
I forget who. I think it was Rosenthal's article that was like, oh, they offered him like something similar to like the 7 years, $70 million that the Yankees got Aaron Hicks for. And I'm like, Aaron Hicks stinks, first off. So if you offer me Aaron Hicks money, like that's the end of the conversation. And I get that, he's always hurt. Me as Byron Buxton, I'm always hurt. But like I've shown you my ceiling. You've already gotten your discount. I've been playing for, this is like, I think he's making like $5 million this year. This is like the first time he's making more than like $1 million in a season. Like, it's time to pay. You've had your discount. Baseball teams make good money. It's time to pay. And if you offer me Aaron Hicks money, you get lost.
I'm going to take the other side of this. I'm going to say,
I know you.
I am, and I'll tell you what, I'm a businessman.
He's not a tough guy. That's right. He's just not a tough guy.
No, I think he is I think he is actually tougher than people realize. I don't think that's it. But I think that if I'm the Twins, I'm looking at what I have in the organization, and the depth that I have is Trevor Larnach. It's Alex Kirilloff. It's young outfielders, right? And I'm thinking to myself,
cheap outfielders.
Young, cheap outfielders. Ding, ding, ding. I've got Nelson Cruz's contract. I've got Byron Buxton. Do I want to make a long-term investment in Byron Buxton? And I don't think the answer could possibly be yes if you are the Twins. I'm sorry. It just can't be. And it might be unfortunate that it ends this way, but I don't see how. I mean, think of that like in a dynasty perspective, right? You want to put Aaron Hicks on a $45 salary? He could be a $45 player. You're not wrong, but do you want to put him on that salary, Mayor?
Aaron Hicks? No, I don't want him.
Not Aaron Hicks on Byron Buxton. Do you want to put right? Exactly. And that's the whole thing. At the end of the day, I think that's the really good analogy I'm going to make here. If you're the Twins and it's a dynasty team, right? That's the salary Byron Buxton is going to want, right? And somebody might be crazy enough to pay him that, probably. Although with the looming CBA, I don't know if that's a roll of the dice Byron Buxton wants to take. But true. I will say this: if I'm the Twins, I could get a pretty good haul right now for Byron Buxton, and I'm going to take that haul, and I'm going to see what I can do afterwards. That's where I'm going.
I'm laughing at Wonky Penguin's comment in the chat right now. She said, "Here's 70 million. Sorry, it's so little. The rest of it went to the surgeons."
She's not wrong. She ain't wrong about that at all. All right, I want to go through a little fun here. We have this piece here from MLB.com. It's 9 players on the rise ahead of the deadline. So I wanted to kick some of these names to you. First one is Jesus Aguilar of the Marlins, 62 RBI, 800 OPS. And he's been especially hot in the last month with a 1054 OPS and 3 homers and 11 ribbies. So 2 potential fits they put out here were the Indians and the Red Sox. Now the Red Sox, I can actually kind of see this. Bobby Dahlbeck has not been great, let's be honest. So this one actually kind of makes sense for me there. I think he would be a good fit for the Red Sox. And I think this is exactly the kind of mid-level move that continues to put them in that conversation to stay at the top of that division. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it makes sense. I don't know that they're going to go that route just because they called up Jarren Duran and now they're trying to, that means Kike Hernandez is going to kick into the infield and they're going to kind of figure out the first base rotation. But they don't have a ton of great options. It's like Christian Arroyo, Michael Chavis, Bobby Dahlbeck. Right. None of them are playing great. So it makes sense. Jesus Aguilar also got off to a hot start this year and it's kind of faded and it's lost his job to Garrett Cooper basically. And so right. I don't know. I mean, if you're offering what the Braves got Jock Peterson for, that's a fine move. I don't know.
I think that's all that would take, don't you think, to get him?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's fine. He's gotten hot before. He's an upgrade over what they have, and so that could help the back end of their lineup.
Well, bringing up Jarren Duran, certainly, it's look, they're trying to show everybody, look, we're going to make a run at this thing. And the Red Sox look like a playoff team right now. I still see the Blue Jays are going to be very competitive down the stretch here. Javier Baez, another guy on this list. The potential fits they put out there are the Athletics and the Indians. I can't see the Indians making a push here. I don't know, man. I'm just crazy. I don't know. I find that one hard to believe, especially with Bieber being out. The Indians, why would you give up anything to get Javier Baez? The A's, on the other hand, I mean, Andrews has been a disaster. I mean, I think we can all say that. That makes a little bit more sense to me. Do you think that would be a good landing spot, in your opinion, for him?
Yeah, I think so. I can confirm Andrews was a disaster because I got a lot of $1 shares of him this year. Just I was he's because there was that offseason story. He was Elvis Andrews is teaching the other young Oakland A's how to steal bases. I was oh, that's cool. I'll take Elvis Andrews for $1.
Well, you know what they always say: awful. Those who can do, those who can't teach.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, that would be an exciting move for them because the A's have been better than I expected all year, and I'm kind of waiting for them to come back down. But Javier Baez would be a nice little piece for them, I think.
All right, let's talk about Joey Gallo. There's some rumors around him too. The Padres and the Yankees are what's been thrown around. I don't know. I just don't see the Yankees getting in there for Joey Gallo personally. I don't know. As much as I'd love to see them get some kind of left-handed presence in their lineup, and as much as that would be very fun to see Joey Gallo, this is just another station-to-station player, all-or-nothing player, and I'm pretty sure the Yankees are pretty set there. Do you see Gallo getting moved at all?
I'm not sure. I think they have another year of team control. I wouldn't be in a rush to move Gallo, but I was joking in our chat here yesterday that he would be the perfect fit for the Yankees in that porch, but also because he's another true outcome batter.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Station to station, but they do need a left-handed bat. He would hit 500 home runs the rest of the season in that ballpark. He would break records. That would be fun. Yeah. My high school baseball field is near the Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I would love to take BP in Yankee Stadium. That would be so much. I mean, I'm a right-handed hitter. Anyway, I could hit the ball out oppo there. I still could do it. Absolutely. I'm very confident as long as it's a fastball. Curveballs, bats are afraid. Charlie Morton, if indeed things go south. Well, Charlie Morton's a player of a certain age. He certainly wants to be relevant at this point in his career. Angels and Yankees have been listed out there. Now, the Yankees would be a great fit. I don't know if they could pull this off. I don't know if the Braves are willing to do this. The Angels would The Angels are fascinating because they're getting so much out of Ohtani. They are getting Trout back. Do you think the Angels are going to try their best to be aggressive here? And do you think they have the goods to acquire a guy like Charlie Morton at this point?
Do I think they're going to try? Probably, because they always kind of try, even though they're like this bad team that like buys at the deadline for some reason. I don't know, what they have or what they could offer. I know they have like one of the worst farm systems in baseball. And the thing about Charlie Morton is like, this is even more than just like a short-term rental. Like there's no re-signing Charlie Morton. It's not like this could, you're getting like the inside lane to like re-sign him for next year, because he's going to retire after this year. So what would the Angels even be doing? Like they should really like accept who they are and like not sell any major pieces, but try to like restock that farm system and then, go at it again next year and try to build something about Trout before it's too late.
You're right. And by the way, Pickles, it ain't blind confidence, baby. I can push the ball oppo 315 in my sleep. Don't worry about it. I've already posted numerous BP stuff. I'll take on the who somebody put in there. Let's a FantasyPros home run derby. Yeah, let's do it. I agree, Wonky Penguin. I'm all in. I'm going to call my own shot. How's that? How you like that? I'm going to call me to go yard. I can still hit the baseball. It's just, the running and throwing part at this age is just not as fun as it used to be back
I was
in the
more
day.
of an Elvis Andrews hitter.
Oh, were you? And I always feel like that's one of those things too. The older you get, you're always a little bit, you're like, what do I have still left in the tank? And every now and then you go and if you have a good day at a batting cage or something, I can still hit the ball pretty well and all that stuff. And then there's like a day where like you're playing wiffle ball with the kids or something and you pop up once, you're like, what is wrong with me? What happened to me? What was I once upon a time? But no, I'm still pretty confident out there. I would love, and Mike Merritt lives in Jersey. So if he wants to go out there with me, we'll find a ball field. We'll get Dan Harris to come down here. We'll get an L screen. We'll make this happen. Let me tell you, bro, I am all in for this idea. I love this idea. And that's right. I got dad strength, baby. Don't forget it. All right. Let's get to some fun here that Mike gave us here. And one of these guys, too, actually, is on this list of possible guys to trade. So rest of the season, would you rather Wander Franco or George Springer? This is an interesting duo here. I would certainly lean towards George Springer because of the track record, but I'm still very confident in my Wander Franco. We'll see if my confidence is misplaced at the end of the day. But where do you lie on these two? I mean, it seems like an obvious answer, but maybe it's not.
Yeah, I would lean Springer too, although Wander Franco has almost like that kind of like, do you want the boat or do you want the mystery box? And you're like, the mystery box could be anything. It could be a boat. And so you kind of like, there's always like that what if with Wander Franco, but I think I would go George Springer here just because, especially if they continue to play in Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo's a good place. I'm very happy that that's where they ended up back again. Eloy Jimenez or Franmil Reyes? I actually just acquired Eloy Jimenez, a $5 player in my home dynasty league for my $19 Acuna with a $5 kicker because I'm looking forward and I'm all in right now, and I'm already all in, so let's just go, and I'm going to take Eloy Jimenez because I don't know what Acuna does when he comes back in terms of stolen bases and how that affects his point total, but we're talking rest of season here. Franmil's a very underrated player, but I think Eloy's the better hitter, clearly, so I'm going to go with Eloy, but that is not a knock on the Franmil. Franmil is underrated, doesn't get enough credit, in my opinion, but what are your thoughts on these two?
Yeah, I included these just because I think they're so close the rest of the season. And the news that Eloy is coming back sooner rather than later is, obviously the big
it looks like
here.
By the end of the month, I believe, is what they're saying, basically. So hopefully after next weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I would take Eloy here. Although, higher ceiling, bigger swing. I can tell you that I have Eloy Jimenez and George Springer in a deep roster 15-team league, and it's not going well this year.
What about Luke Voigt or Eloy Jimenez? Again, I'm Team Jimenez all the way here in this one.
Yeah, I've never been a Luke Voigt guy, but there is that appeal on the Yankees. But I mean, he's also like, the injury concerns there. Like he's really getting hurt a lot recently, and I think I'd rather take Eloy there too.
Anthony Santander or Robbie Grossman, another guy who could be on the block potentially this trade deadline.
I'm going Grossman here, and one of the reasons is because I write the weekly quick grades piece over at FantasyPros, and Robbie Grossman is just like near the top of the grades like all the time. And he got cold recently, but then he's hot again. I think there's 4 players this upcoming week with a grade above 90, and it's like Trey Turner, Brandon Crawford, Otani, and Robbie Grossman. Those
feels
4
like that old Sesame Street thing. Which one is not like the other? Like what the hell are those guys doing there with Otani and Trey Turner?
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know. And Brandon
That's just how
Crawford
hot
doesn't
he's
belong
been.
there either. I know Crawford's been out of his mind. How about Joey Votto or Michael Conforto? I think everybody knows my answer to this one. And all these people with the Joey Votto is a lock Hall of Famer. Get out. Just get out. Just leave. Leave my chat.
You're gonna upset Tuma if you bash.
I'm gonna upset Joey Votto's a very good player. When is Joey Votto one of the best players in baseball? He had a couple really great seasons. Oh my God, Don Mattingly's not in the Hall of Fame. Why is Joey Votto? That's crazy.
I'm going Conforto here. I'm not a big Votto guy at this point in his career. Although I know Tuma is. Votto. He's been pitching Votto to us all year.
And I love Canadians. Let me tell you. And an Italian Canadian, for me to be this negative, and I had this big argument with Ariel Cohen on the show earlier this year. I don't know if you remember that before we started leading off, where he was telling me about Joey Votto and the Hall of Fame. I was like, what are you talking about? And then everybody was on his side, and I was very upset. So I'm just dragging up old memories here. Alex Kirilloff or Mike Yastrzemski, last one, rest of season there. This one's very close for me, and I like Yaz. So I think I would probably go with Yaz, but I don't know. This is a tough one, because if Kirilloff really starts to get comfortable, this could be a real eye-opener here in August and September, where going into next year, he could really create a lot of helium for his fantasy value.
Yeah, I'm going Kirilloff here. And his expected numbers, like most of the season, were much better than his actual numbers. And I think for a while there, he was coming back from that wrist injury still. Mm-hmm. And so this is another one, like, I'm taking a bigger swing with Kirilloff. And I've also never been a huge, like, Yaz guy, which is hard to say as a Red Sox fan, because he should be. Yeah, I'm going Kirilloff. I think there's a higher ceiling, and I think there's more of a potential that he's going to go on a run, whereas I think Yaz has kind of like come back into who he is after that break.
All right. Before we get into the DFS, we got 13 games tonight, 14 if you're playing over on DK. Again, I don't think Yankees Red Sox is going to be one of them. Spoiler alert. Just got a gut feeling. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. But I want to tell you, of course, about Manscaped. That's right. Manscaped.com, the Lawnmower 4.0. And Mayor was a beautiful human the other day on the on the Discord live chat, where he's like, yeah, Joe just starts talking about Manscaped. There's nothing there's no real read or things like that. This is just straight off the top. Nothing's pre-planned. And, and that's the beauty of the Manscaped read. And I think that I am now officially the number one seller. I think I get a Hyundai Sonata at the end of the year. I think that's the car they're giving away if I stay at the top of the leaderboard. That's what I'm waiting for. So thank you, Manscaped. But if you want to take part in the Lawnmower 4.0, the advanced skin-safe technology, the 4K LED light, not to mention the hot foil black chrome stamped logo, which is already yesterday on the show. If you don't subscribe to Fantasy Pros MLB channel, you missed it. And I'm not gonna take out my lawnmower and show it to you again. Maybe next week we'll see how it goes. You can go back and watch it on demand. But look, go out there, get it, manscaped.com. Use that code leading off. 20% off and free shipping can be yours. Again, that code is leading off. Your balls will thank you. Let's get to DFS tonight. The good chalk, my friends, is Toronto. Looking at the cash game arms, you got Robbie Ray at 9.8 and 9.3. Pretty reasonable, I would say, considering how Robbie Ray is pitched. I feel very confident about him, especially at that price. Important game here. I know I'm going to keep saying this for the Braves, but these next couple weeks for the Yankees and the Braves, every game is like life and death, I feel like. Charlie Morton, 8.7, 8.5. Kevin Gossman at the high end at 10.6 and 10.3. Chris Bassett, 9.9 on FanDuel, but just 8.5 on DK. Hell of a discount there on Bassett. Marcus Stroman, also kind of a big variance, 9.1 on FanDuel. I know it's against the Pirates, but I don't want that. And then Marcus Stroman, 7.9 on DK. Now I'm listening. How do you look at the cash game arms, especially in the FanDuel side with a single pitcher? I'm still going Robbie Ray. I'll take that discount off of Gossman, but I'm okay if you want to go up to Gossman tonight too. There's enough lineup builders to do it.
I was surprised that you said you weren't in on Stroman, because I was kind of scrolling through the prices and I see like Sean Manaea against Cleveland, and then McCullers, Robbie Ray, Kyle Hendricks, Kevin Gossman. They're all more expensive
9-1 on Stroman. Well, Stroman's not a big strikeout guy.
That's true.
And that is
It's the Pirates.
It's the Pirates, but you know what? Here's the thing: the Pirates are like Punch and Judy kind of team too. That like the Mets come out of the break, they're in first place. Like, you're a loser Mets fan like me, right, Mayor? I believe, right?
I'm a Red Sox fan.
Oh, you're okay. All right, so you're a Red Sox.
I'm a loser Red Sox fan.
Okay, so that's yeah, you've won a lot. Okay, in the last 20 years, so don't even talk to me about that. But as Dan could tell us and agree with me, this is the perfect scenario. You set up, you got the Pirates out of the break, and then they lose 6-2 against the Pirates. And, this is the kind of game that scares the hell out of me. At 9-1 as a standalone pitcher, I just don't think Stroman can get enough in the strikeout department, and he's got to get the win. There's a lot of things that have to variable-wise all work, and the offense has to support him. Whereas Robbie Ray, I'm good with. Charlie Morton, I'm okay with too. In fact, Charlie Morton, I think, is almost more of a tournament play tonight. And Gossman has been, I don't know, man. I mean, Gossman's off the chart right now. You look at all the peripherals. It's so hard to argue against any Gossman shares.
Yeah. Yeah. And I forget how long ago I did like a StatCast deep dive on him, but his fastball and splitter were both like in the top 5 of like best pitches in baseball, like pitch value wise. It was just like amazing.
And then on the GPP side, you got Tyler Mahle, 8.8, and Chris Flexen, who's pitched oddly well at 7K. If you really want to go cheap and see if you can get another win out of Flexen, it is on the road, though, for him. Secondary arm set on DK, as I mentioned. Stroman is a secondary arm against the Pirates. Okay, I'm listening. It's 7.9. Okay. Mahle's 8.2. Julio Urias at 7.8 in Colorado. Your thoughts? Are you ready to roll the dice with him or not so much in Colorado?
I mean, sure. But I mean, it's Colorado.
Wow. Could you be a little bit more confident in that? I mean, geez, what confidence.
I want to give you like a Dan answer. Like when you were like, do you have anything to add? And he's like, no.
No. And then he adds 12 things. That's what he does directly after that. Flexen, by the way, 6.9 on DK. Kyle Hendricks, 7.5 too. This might be your last chance to get in on the Hendricks before he has either a different team or no team around him. We're looking at offense tonight. I got Toronto and the Dodgers. Are there any other offenses to you that really stick out before we get to the pick-a-side games?
Any offenses that stick out? No, you can keep going. I'll do it then.
So, he's as cool as the other side of the pillow, Mike Mayer. I love this guy. All right, game stack tonight: San Diego versus Washington. I think Chris Paddock has shown you that Paddock rhymes with erratic, and that's all I got to say about that. Pick a side: Lance McCullers at 9.7, Dylan Cease at 8.5, or do you run away?
I'll go McCullers.
Okay, McCullers there over the White Sox. Lineup builders tonight: we've got Ryan Mountcastle. This is on FanDuel, 2.6. We've got Nico Horner, 2.3, Alex Dickerson, 2.2, nearly a free square. Kevin Biggio at 2.6, Brian Reynolds at 2.6. On the DK side, Kevin Biggio at 3.5, pretty good value there. I told you I like Toronto a lot tonight, especially in Buffalo. I would be in on that offense. Whatever you have to do to be in on it, be in on it. Alcides Escobar at the top of that Washington lineup too. I talk about that game stack, 2.4 there for him. Hunter Dozier at 3.3, and Jared Kelenic back. And he's 2.0 on DK. On DK, free square. That lets you get Gossman right there. Kelenic, Gossman, put it together. And I understand it was a bad start to his season. I get it. But let's give the kid a break. He went back down, he hit. He's come back. He brings confidence with him. Let's get to the home run calls. Now, you're used to making your home run calls in the cave of Discord. Right. Here we make them publicly. Here we go out there and we scream it from the rooftops. So give me your home run call today. Who is leaving the yard? Call your shot, Mike Mayer.
I'm going with Justin Turner at Coors Field.
Justin Turner, Coors Field. Look at you. Dan Harris, I'm sure, will make his call in perpetuity for the weekend.
No doubleheaders, though.
No doubleheaders. We've learned that the hard way. Yes, I got you. I understand. And you were very fair. I said it was very fair. We came to, I'm a very logical guy, right? I'm not that tough. I feel like I'm nice. You're having fun here on the show, aren't you, Mayor?
The Lord of the List is fair and just.
The Lord of the List. Are you going to get a shirt? Can we get a shirt? We need a shirt for Mayor. Just for Mayor. There's only one made up, Lord of the List. I'm going to go with Juan Soto for the weekend, of course, because I want to prove to everybody what I said yesterday, which is this latter part of the season is going to be about Juan Soto getting hot and reminding everybody, hey, I'm one of the best 5 players in baseball. Don't you forget it. So give me Juan Soto for the weekend. I'm staying on brand. The Lord of the List, the Lord of the Dance. Any final thoughts on today's show heading into the weekend? Things that you're looking for, things that you're watching for, series you got your eye on, or maybe players you think might get jettisoned from their teams sooner than later, maybe?
I should say no, just to stay on brand and end the show like Dan does. But I mean, the big thing I'm looking for is what happens with this Red Sox Yankees series, and does Major League Baseball shut down any other teams because they were, because of social distancing and were they, in close contact with people who did test positive. So that's my main concern. I'm ready for baseball.
Yeah, man. And it's such a bummer. Like, I feel like Dan and I talked about it yesterday. We were riding high, feeling good. We had a nice little breather with the All-Star break. And then, okay, standalone Yankees, Red Sox. There's going to be 40,000 people there on a hot Thursday night in the Bronx. And then, no, everybody turn your cars around, go home. Huge bummer. Terrible bummer. I think Dan ended up watching just Home and Garden channel all night or something like that instead. So Dan's in a sour mood, but hopefully brunch will bounce him back. I'm sure. What are you a brunch guy, Mike Mayer? I know I'm a brunch guy, so because I'm a little bougie. How about you?
I feel like brunch is dangerous for me. The last time I brunched, I lost a day somewhere. I woke up at 6 p.m. I thought it was 6 a.m. I didn't know what day it was.
Mayer. Wow.
Bottomless mimosas at brunch is dangerous.
Wow, we just found out a lot about Mike Mayer in this last question. Who knew? Bottomless mimosas are the way to get the Lord of the List to do anything you want. We know that now. All right, that'll do it for us. I want to remind everybody we'll be back again on Monday. Dan Harris will be back again. Mike, I want to thank you for filling in, pinch hitting. Fantastic, as always, and thank you sincerely for all the help. When I say Mike Mayer is the backbone of the show, it's not hyperbole. It is correct. And that's my word of the day, toilet paper working out with the word hyperbole. But Most operatively and hyperbolically and all of those things. But yeah, enjoy your baseball, everybody. Go to manscaped.com. Like I said, get that lawnmower 4.0. And, of course, don't forget about fantasypros.com/MLB contest. We're still trying to give you free stuff. You've got another couple weeks to get involved in that. But that'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Mike Mayer, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.